This is Eyewitness 43 coming to report to you what the eye has witnessed this April 13th, 2009. If you look at the top right hand corner of your screen under the More Info tab, you'll see a link for an article titled Banks Aren't Reselling Many Foreclosed Homes, and I'll be using that as the basis of this video here this afternoon about mortgage fraud. To jump right into the article states, a vast shadow inventory of foreclosed homes that banks are holding off the market could wreak havoc with the already battered real estate sector. It found significant disparity. Only 30% of the foreclosures were listed for sale in the multiple listing service, or MLS. The remainder is known in the industry as shadow inventory. We'll get into that later. The article goes on to say, there is a real danger that there is much more foreclosure inventory than we are measuring. Eventually, those homes will have to be dealt with. If they're all put on the market, that will add more inventory to an already bloated market and drive down prices even more. Now, for the people who've looked at the article and have read it, you can see a graph. And in that graph, some of it is in blue and some of it is in red. And what's in blue is the shadow inventory, or what people don't quote unquote know about. Now, if there is a shadow market that nobody knows about, what the hell is it doing in blue? If no one knows about something, I shouldn't see it, right? So we're not talking about something that no one can see. We're talking about something that's only seen by certain people. And I want to get into what this really means. First, let's ask ourselves, since we have a secondary market, do we have a primary market? And if we do, what is it? What does it look like? How does it function? Well, I submit to you that the primary mortgage market, as stated in this article, is in fact the multiple listing service, or MLS. When a person interested in purchasing real estate or researching property prices in a given zip code wants to satisfy their curiosity, the MLS is where they go to find out what costs what. That is the primary market. You get on the internet in any town, in any city across America, and do that research. Now the question becomes now, well, what the hell is the secondary mortgage market? Now, this is what the article shows us to be in blue. A shadow inventory. Shadow meaning something that's hidden or not seen. Now, the fraud here is that something is being declared to be a shadow and at the same time it's being described. Okay? If somebody doesn't know something exists, you shouldn't be drawing it in blue. So the question is, who knows what's inside the secondary mortgage market? How do they know to be able to put it in blue in this article? What pool of data do people pick from to give them a glimpse into the secondary mortgage market? What is the doorway between the primary mortgage market in the general public and the secondary mortgage market? I suspect that doorway is a company called Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems. Mortgage Electronic Registration Systems is an organization that was created back in the early 90s by the mortgage banking industry themselves, along with Fannie, Freddie, HUD, to come up with a way to digitize mortgages and put them into a clearinghouse of which they control, they audit, that also conveniently gives them the ability to package, repackage, cross-collateralize these mortgage obligations in mortgage-backed securities, CDOs, things like that, that they slap a AAA rating on and sell to their buddies overseas. MERS is the process by which paper mortgages were converted into 11-digit representations and put into a private system that all the mortgage industry and real estate players pay to have access to, that constitute the secondary mortgage market. Now, the real nefarious part about having access to that type of information is what leads to price fixing. And the article points that out in Intent by Miss Celia Chin, who's quoted as saying, eventually those homes will have to be dealt with. Even if they're all put on the market, that will add more inventory to an already bloated market and drive down home prices further. Now, I don't know what planet Miss Chen is from, but home prices going down is good for the general public, albeit bad for her banking friends or business associates. So that shows evidence of the fact that the people who have access to the data or the houses that are in foreclosure but not for sale, the people who choose not to disclose that information, in so doing, inflate the house prices of the homes that are listed in the primary mortgage market. Because, of course, as Ms. Chen points out, if all of the homes in the secondary mortgage market were made known to the general public, that would send prices down further, which I submit would be good for the general public but bad for the bank. That in and of itself is price fixing, which is an offshoot of the financial system anyway, but that's another conversation. However, I am making this video to point out that mortgage electronic registration systems is the computer program responsible for housing what's being called shadow inventory. MERS is not accessible to the general public because you have to pay to have access to it. The realtors, the mortgage servicers know about this. Google MERS. There are several lawsuits in the court systems right now regarding MERS and their alleged fraudulent activity, which has basis, because though these tricksters decided they wanted to digitize paper mortgages and take the power of ownership out of the hands of real people, in so doing subverted laws that require the recording of property and land records. You should research and see for yourself that there are laws that already require certain things to be recorded. And the existence of a company who seeks to digitize a hard copy is on a thin line between violating law. And the general public is not aware of this, and they're not aware of how it impacts them negatively, because there are many people out there, and I'm one of them, who initial this company as a beneficiary on their mortgage. No one explained to me 5 years ago what MERS was when I sat down to sign my documents. I mean, there's a lot of things I didn't know. That doesn't absolve me, but it does show you the intent, willful intent, for people to do things that are unethical and things that are fraudulent for the sake of profit. And we see this in this article. I suggest everybody research MERS by themselves to see if what I'm saying holds water, and research what it means to have a quote-unquote secondary mortgage market. Everything that's on the market should be for sale. If that means houses are brought down to $500, so be it.